I am so excited to have you in the kitchen because we are about to make, are you ready? The richest and most decadent chocolate cheesecake you have ever had. Oh, this cake is so smooth and creamy with a velvety chocolate filling, topped with a smooth chocolate ganache and one of my favorite cookies ever, an Oreo cookie crust. You are not ready for this. Stay tuned, it's coming up next on The Sweet Spot. So let's start our cheesecake by first making our Oreo cookie crust. Now you can use any type of Oreos you like, depending on taste. Originals work beautifully, but I found these dark chocolate Oreos. And since we're making a chocolate cheesecake, I thought these would be just perfect as an Oreo cookie crust. If you like originals, that's fine. I'm just gonna go for the extra chocolate punch with these Oreos. So you need about 26 Oreo cookies, which is almost an entire family pack of Oreo cookies, by the way. And then you're gonna place them into a food processor. So you'll need your Oreo cookies, your 5 tablespoons of melted butter, and your food processor. So first, just take your Oreo cookies and put them all into your food processor. With this recipe, I'm not gonna split the cookies and get rid of the cream, especially not since it's dark chocolate cream. We're just gonna put them in there whole. If you use original, use the same process. Then we're gonna close our processor. And I like to pulse to make my crumbs. You can put it on low if you like, because I really like to see my crumbs come to life. So I'm just gonna pulse until I get the texture I want. And you want nice, even crumbs, just like that. Now with my processor on low, I'm gonna stream my melted butter straight into my food processor. All right, so you'll see your crumbs really come together and that butter start to bind them and create like an Oreo cookie, kind of more of a paste consistency. Now let's fill our springform pan with our Oreo cookie crust. So you see we have our crust here. I'm just gonna remove the blade. And then just scoop that right into your springform pan. Next, you can use the back of a glass or a measuring cup, and you want to press down your crust into your pan. And you want a really even distribution. We have our crust in the oven, and now it's time to move on to making our cream cheese filling. So you're going to start with, of course, the main ingredient, your cream cheese, and just add all of that cream cheese to a mixing bowl. Once you get all of that cream cheese in your bowl, we're gonna put our paddle attachment onto our mixer, and we're gonna mix this on medium until it's smooth. Once your cream cheese is nice and smooth, scrape down the sides of your bowl and add in your granulated sugar. Once again, we're gonna mix this on medium. Now it's time to add in our eggs one at a time. So we're gonna add in that one, get the whole egg in there. And then you're gonna mix on low in between each addition of an egg. Now we're going to take our freshly brewed coffee and pour over our chocolate chips. We're then going to take that container and put in the microwave for 20 seconds. So I just took my chocolate chips out of the microwave, stirring them to promote those last bit of chips to start the melting process. And I'm gonna let this sit here and come to room temperature. We're gonna finish making our filling by adding our sour cream. And our vanilla. And we're gonna mix that on medium. I'm gonna add my flour and cocoa powder. I like to pre-mix them together. I find it helps get an even blend into the batter by mixing the flour and cocoa powder. And I just take them, it doesn't have to be a strong blend, just a light blend of the two ingredients. I like to do about half at a time, just so I don't overwhelm the batter with too much flour and cocoa powder. And we're gonna mix that starting on low, working out. Scrape down our bowl. Add in the remaining. And finally, we're gonna add in all of our melted chocolate. And blend that on medium. So now that we finish our cream cheese filling, it's time to pour it into our cooled Oreo crust. Just gonna pour all of that batter in there. Looks so good. Because I will be baking my cream cheese in a water bath, I want to take foil and completely wrap around the edges, because I want to make sure no water gets inside of my cheesecake. I'm actually going to take another piece for this side just to make sure. Just make sure you have enough foil to where no water can penetrate your cheesecake. You want to add enough warm or hot water to your pan to where it gives you about an inch, no more than an inch of water around your cheesecake. The amount will vary depending on the size of your pan. I'm using a roasting pan, so mine took a little bit more water to get a nice layer. Then I'm gonna place my cheesecake right in the center of my water bath and bake that for 60 to 70 minutes on 350 degrees. So we've taken our cheesecake out of the oven. It smells amazing. So what you want to do, you take it out of the oven, remove it from the water bath, remove the foil, let it sit on a cooling rack for about 1 hour. If you see light sticking to the rims, just take a butter knife and just loosen it up. So as the cake cools and contracts, it'll naturally pull away from the sides. So I've had my cake here cooling on this rack for 1 hour, like I said earlier. Now we're gonna remove the outer lining of the pan and reveal that beautiful cheesecake. Oh my God. It looks amazing and is setting up nicely. So what we're gonna do now, there's 2 options for you. You can either let this chill in the refrigerator overnight and completely set. If you want to eat it today, you absolutely can, but you need to let it cool for at least 4 hours to really get a nice set and creamy cheesecake. But I cannot stress enough, the best way is to let it cool overnight. The cheesecake will set up and it will slice beautifully. So this little guy is going in the refrigerator until tomorrow. The cheesecake has been in the refrigerator overnight, so it's time to make our chocolate ganache. To make our chocolate ganache topping, you're gonna take your heavy cream, pour that into a medium saucepan, and we're gonna put this on medium-high heat until it comes to a simmer. So our cream is ready. We're gonna remove that from the heat. And we're gonna add our chocolate chips to another bowl. And then we're gonna pour our cream over our chocolate chip. Using a whisk, just whisk until all your chocolate chips have melted and the mixture becomes smooth. You'll start to see the color change. My ganache has cooled to room temperature. It takes about 5 to 10 minutes. It cools down very quickly. Like if I touch the sides, it's not warm at all. So it doesn't take very long. Once it's cooled to room temperature, it's the fun stuff. You get to layer this all over your chocolate cheesecake. And I'm just gonna pour a good amount over. And just take an icing knife and get a nice layer. I'm taking it softly to the edges because I'm not doing a drip. I just want a nice coating across the top. And just smoothing it out. If you don't have an icing knife, a rubber spatula, a butter knife, whatever you can get just to move that ganache. And you don't need to be perfect with smoothing your ganache because we're gonna add some chocolate whipping cream. So I just get a nice edge to where it's not dripping over the sides, but you have a nice layered effect to stop. Because I love layering chocolate ganache and I could just smooth it out and just all day. So I'm gonna stop right now. I actually put my cheesecake back in the refrigerator so that ganache can really set while I make my chocolate whipped topping. So I'm adding the confectioner sugar and cocoa powder. Gonna lightly whisk that on low. And now we're gonna add our heavy cream. And with this, you're gonna really whip the heavy cream, so you wanna put it on a high speed. Our whipped topping is done. Time to put it on our cheesecake. It really doesn't matter how you put the whipped topping on your cheesecake. You can cut a slice, put a dollop on the side, you can trim out your cheesecake. It doesn't matter. It's all up to you. I am obsessed right now with doing a piping sort of like wreath kind of motif where I use different piping tips and pipe around the cake. And that's what I'm gonna choose to do on this cheesecake. I'm gonna take my first piping tip and just start piping a random pattern around my cheesecake. I'm done piping with my first tip. I'm gonna go in with my second tip. Here you have it, my decadent chocolate cheesecake. You are going to love this one. If you liked the video you saw today, hit like, subscribe. I have more tricks up my sleeve. I have some delicious recipes to bring to you. More to come right here on The Sweet Spot.